Raise your hand if you ever felt disorganized or rushed the morning of a triathlon. Yeah, who hasn't, right? Stupid question, but it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, I'm going to show you how to pack your triathlon transition bag the night before so that you can sleep better and feel more prepared and organized on race morning. Hey guys, Eric with ewjtri, bringing you a new video every Friday so that you can have your best triathlon race yet. Hit that red subscribe button or you're just going to miss need-to-know info. When organizing your transition bag, it can be helpful to use a race day chart. But even then, I've got all the stuff I need, but it's in a big pile and I'm not sure how to best organize it, and it actually adds more stress. Your brain likes consistency and routine, so give your brain what it wants. You have a race tomorrow, the last thing you want is more stress. And so packing your bag the same way, in an organized way that makes sense to you, can really help you on race morning. I'm going to show you the way it makes sense to me. I hope it's helpful and makes sense to you as well. So 3 things that you've got to have for race morning that actually don't pack in the transition bag is your driver's license, your USAT card, or money for a one-day license if that applies to you, and then cash for the state park. Some races you need it, some races you don't, but those are things you just, before you even get to your transition area, you gotta have. Okay, on to the transition bag. When I first started doing triathlons, all I had was a small book bag, and that was not cutting it to fit all this triathlon gear in it. So I actually used a triathlon bucket. Something simple, cheap, it was bright so I could see it. When I put it in transition, I'd actually sit on it to help take off my wetsuit or put on my shoes. Once I knew I wanted to be into the sport, I researched some triathlon bags and got the one I wanted. But as a beginner, triathlon bucket is definitely a way to go. It's something simple. Put a comment below if you ever used the triathlon bucket. Now, depending on the race, there are 3 things that you may or may not get before, so they may or may not go in your transition bag. If you don't get these things, great, you'll get them in the race morning. But if you do, the first thing is your race number, so put that on your race belt. The second thing is your timing chip that you might not get. If that's the case, I'd recommend putting that around your mountain bike handlebars. If you forget your mountain bike, you've got bigger problems than just a timing chip. The other thing you can do is actually sleep with it. I have a friend, Bruce, who puts his chip around his ankle the night before the race, but he's never forgotten his chip, and so that's what works for him. The final thing is a swim cap, which you may get the morning of. If you get it before, that's actually the first thing that's going to go in your transition bag. Now, I actually like to start my preparation with a smaller net bag where I put my swim stuff in. That way, once I set up transition, I can actually take this smaller bag and head out to the bathroom line or to my car or a quiet place to finish my race prep, and then hand this small bag off to my Sherpa. So if you've got your swim cap, you've put that in there. If not, the bag remains empty. From there, you've got your 2 pairs of swim goggles. Then you're going to put your wetsuit or your speed suit if that's what you've got for the race. And as you're packing, remember, you're doing this in the reverse order of the things that you need. Then I've got my tri top. The tri shorts will already be on before you left the house. Then I've got body glide and sunblock. The final thing is my activation band for my pre-race warm-up. Now I've got my swim transition bag, and I'm actually going to place that in my bigger transition bag just on the bottom. Now, if you don't have this smaller netted bag, that's fine. You don't need it. All this would just go on the bottom in this order, so that's the last things you're pulling out before you leave transition area to head to the swim. Okay, now your bike stuff. Your flat repair kit should already be attached to your mountain bike, so don't worry about that. The next thing you're going to put in is your mountain biking shoes. So whether you're using flat pedals or you're clipping in, most people have different shoes for the mountain bike and the run. So this is where you put them in. If you're going to wear the same shoes throughout, this is where you put your shoes in. Socks, if you're going to use those, I slide in there and put those on top. That is followed by your helmet. Now, if the bag starts to get too full, you can actually leave your helmet out, attaching it to maybe a strap on the back here, so it just lays behind. For here, we'll put it in, and then when it goes in there like that, you've got your sunglasses and then your gloves on top to kind of protect them, like that. Now it comes down to a little personal preference for the run stuff. Some people wear the shoes they're going to run and then take them off in the transition area, which can be easy. Otherwise, the run shoes would go in next, again with socks if you choose to wear them. And that's if you're going to change socks from the bike to the run. Some people change, some people just put them on for the run, but this is where you put them if that's the case. Then you've got your hat or visor if you choose to wear one, followed by your race belt with any gel if you're going to use that. Transition towels, I like to use 2 smaller ones, especially one that's quite bright so I can more easily recognize it and help dry your feet off. That goes on top because this is the first thing that you're going to pull out in the transition area as you start to set all this up. It all comes out in reverse order. So the towels go in last. One other thing I like to have is some wet wipes. So this can be the Porta-John line bathrooms or whatever bathrooms you use don't have any sanitizer or soap. This can be the quick thing to, or toilet paper for that matter, can help clean things up. And then afterwards, it's a way to have a nice quick triathlete shower after the race. So I slide that on the side there. Okay, so that's everything. And zip it up. And the last thing I do is actually I put a note that says, bottles are in the fridge, because for the morning of the race, I usually have a bike bottle or 2 bottles, depending on how long the race is, or maybe something for the bike and something for the warm-up part. Those aren't going to be in the bag overnight. I'll get them in the morning, but I put that note on top so that I don't forget. All right, that's it. Bag is ready to go. You are organized for the race, that when you get there, you just start taking everything out. Look for a video link in the upper right. We'll show you how to set up a transition area. Once this bag is full, now we've got to unpack it on a race morning. Put a comment below. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see that would be helpful to you. New video next week. And until then, I will see you on the trails.